Hi everybody, Elusive Plant Lady here, popping in with another video. Now I think this is going to be the first official lesson that I have learned since starting my starter plant parenting journey. And I am super excited to share this with you all. You may have known this, but I did not. And I feel like I learned it the hard way through, my experience. And I'm really, really excited to share this with you so that you won't do the same thing, or the same thing won't happen to you. So if you look back on my videos, you will see that I did a short on the variegated string of hearts that I received. They looked great. I thought they did. But after about a week and a half or so, I started to notice the leaves looked a little wilted. And there's a little bit of a backstory I need to tell you about. So listen up. This information's good. I think this is really, really good information. So before I started filming, I had actually purchased 2 other variegated string of hearts plants. So this last plant that you saw in my short was actually my 3rd variegated string of hearts starter plant that I purchased. And that's why I was so nervous, because the other 2 plants, I put them, did what I thought was the thing to do, put them in my window. I don't have a greenhouse or heat pad or, anything like that, or grow light. So I stuck the little pots in my east-facing window. 2 weeks later, the stems started to wither. The leaves started to die off. Things like that started happening. And I was like, okay, I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna try again, because like I told you in my last video, I am obsessed with this plant. I'm determined to have one of these plants in my collection, a healthy one, of course. So when I went to purchase this last variegated set, which is the one that you saw in my shorts video, I messaged the seller. This particular seller was a seller on Etsy. I'm not going to give any names of any businesses on here. There's no, sponsored connection. But this was one of the typical dozens of, plant sellers that sell everything from alocasias to ZZ plants, right? So that's very important in this story that I'm trying to relate to you. And I hope you're following me, because like I said, this is very, very important information. So I messaged that seller and I told them, look, this is before I bought the variegated string of hearts, I said, look, this is my 3rd set I'm attempting. What advice can you give me? Mind you, this is after watching dozens of, YouTube videos on variegated string of hearts, and not really anything that was detailed enough to give me a lot of information to make me feel like, yeah, this is exactly what I need to do. So the seller told me, well, what you want to do when you first get the plant is you want to bottom water it, which of course, that means just set it in, some water, let the water soak up from the bottom of the plant, leave it alone, set it in your window. I said, okay, fine. So that's exactly what I did. Going back again, after week and a half, I started to notice the same thing as what happened with the previous 2 plants. The leaves were withering, stems were withering. So I said, this time, third time's charms, right? So there are dozens, as you may know, of videos on YouTube as to how to propagate string of hearts. So I followed, there's several different dozens of ways. I don't have a lot of equipment and all of that. So I did the simplest thing. I just took the string of hearts, which were, I think, initially in this pot. And I went, sorry, you got a little bit of a snippet of my stove there. I didn't mean for that to happen. So I took the plant and I said, okay, I'm going to propagate it. Well, in the process, and you can see here where I've got my little pins in there, stuck in there. In the process of what I was going to do is just take the plant, twirl it around in the soil, pin it down, face down where the nodes could meet the soil. Pretty simple, right? So that's what I went to do. But as I went to do that, you all, what I noticed is the plants were just coming up out of the soil. Like there were pieces of the plant that were not rooted. And the pieces of the plant that were rooted were very shallowly rooted. Just few little, very fine pieces of roots. I thought, that's strange, because this was sold to me. All three of these were sold to me that I have bought to this point as plants. So the other two, I never got a chance to propagate those. So I never looked at the roots. I never knew what was going on with the roots. But again, as I went to go propagate these and I started twirling them around in the pot, as I was pulling them up, no roots. Half of them didn't have roots, and the ones that did were very shallow. So what I did was I took, there's two different pots here, two different colors. I took the ones that did have roots, and I've got them in this pot. The ones that did not, the pieces that just came away from the rest of the plant, I've got them in this one. And I've got my little trusty Ziploc bag here, and they've been in the window. You can see where the steam is there, where they've been, propagating in the window. They look like they're doing fine. I've only lost a couple of leaves. They still look healthy. I've got, pretty good hope that they may propagate. Well, here is the real big part of the story that I think. This is the learning curve part of the story. So during this process, I'm looking around, on all the time. Every time I see sale, or I'm sure you all do the same thing. I've, interacted and looked through all different plant companies, because you're looking for a sale and you're trying to stretch your money. Money doesn't grow on plants. So, it'd be nice if it did. So we're all looking for the best, that we can get when it comes to when we buy things, right? So I ran across another company that was having a sale, of course, but this particular company, the name of this company, and I'm not going to give you the name of this company specifically. Again, there's no sponsorship at all here. This is for informational purposes only for you all. Succulent was in the name of this particular company. So I'm looking, and I saw where they had a 2-inch pot of variegated string of hearts. And then I thought, well, I've got the variegated string of hearts. They had the plain string of hearts. And I said, well, I don't have them. I'll get them. And so they had string of arrows. And I thought, well, that sounds cute. That sounds cool. I'll get those. Both of the little 2-inch pots shipping, everything, 12 bucks. Not too bad, right? So guys, these came in just the day before yesterday, I think, is when they came in. Well, let me tell you the first thing I noticed. This is the regular string of heart. This is the string of arrow. These were ordered from a company that has succulent in the name of the business. When I took them out of the box, look at that. Roots are everywhere. Literally everywhere. Now, normally when you see roots like that, you say, oh, it's time to repot. Well, the seller specifically said, water it, leave it alone for a month. So that's what I'm going to do. But in this case, this is a good thing, right? And I want to say this one is the same way. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Sorry, I'm moving too much. Look at all those roots. So we know from this, this information, right? This proof, these are well-rooted plants. They are plants. They've been rooted. They're not cuttings. They're well-rooted. There's no way you're going to see roots sticking all the way out of the bottom like that if these plants were not well-rooted. The other major thing I noticed, and this is major, I tell you. When I felt, look at how thick and juicy that leaf is. I mean, it is just, look at that. Look at that. If I can get this camera to focus. Look at how juicy that leaf is. And all of them are like that. They're just thick and juicy, like a succulent, which is what they compare this genus to. This particular genus to is succulents, and this feels like a succulent. It feels thick, it's juicy, the leaves are thick and they're juicy. Look at that. Same thing with the string of arrows. Thick and juicy, 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 juicy. Look at that. You can't even bend them. I mean, just barely bend them. They're so thick. None of the string of hearts that I have gotten, the leaves have felt like that. These leaves feel a little bit plump because I've had them in the, propagating them. But look how thin that leaf is. Look. See? It feels okay, but it's very thin. It doesn't feel anything like these little juicy suckers do. Look at that. Look how thick that is. I've not seen one video on YouTube that talks about this. So I wasted money on something that I thought was a plant, and it was actually cuttings that were not well rooted. Now, I don't know how you can sell something and call it a plant and there's no roots, or it's not stable in the rooting system. That's to me a cutting, but the packaging or the however you want to put it, the advertisement of this particular plant said, or this product said on the description that it was a plant. So I feel that's a little bit deceiving. So my message to you all, don't let this happen to you. What you want to do is you want to purchase your string of whatevers. If you like the pearls, I don't particularly care for the pearls. They may grow on me at some point, but if you want to purchase and you're as obsessed with these as I have been, and you want to purchase string of hearts, you want to go somewhere where that you can either feel them to see how developed they are, the leaves are, how plump they are. Look at that. Look at that. And I mean, they're all thick like that. All of them are like that, not just one or two. Look at that fat one. Or you want to purchase them from somewhere that's succulent is in the name of the business, right? Or better yet, where you can go look to see the roots and you can see what's going on. Now, I have seen some videos that tell you to look at the roots when you buy plants, but nothing this specific regarding string of hearts. Now, like I said, I'm not going to give up on these. I'm going to continue to leave them in the bag. I'm going to put them back in the bag, put them back in my east-facing window. I do see new growth here, but these leaves feel like paper, guys. Look at that. They just feel like, these are the new ones. They just feel like paper. So, this is a lesson learned, from me. And I just wanted to pass this on to you guys. If you have any questions or comments about this content in this video, please do not hesitate to leave me a comment. Please subscribe to my channel because I plan to continue with this type of content. That was the goal of this channel, was to bring very specific information on plants and plant care for people who are just starting off. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you stayed around, you can see now it was worth it. I think this is very good, strong information. Share this with someone else that's a plant lover who may not know. I thank you so much for watching. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I'll be talking to you soon.